August 2024 has been a month of reflection and sorrow in Hollywood. We've lost some of the most beloved stars of the entertainment world, whose contributions have left an indelible mark on the industry. In today's video, we'll take a moment to honor and remember the Hollywood legends who passed away this August. These iconic figures entertained and inspired us for decades, and their legacies will continue to live on. Jack Russell, lead vocalist for 1980s hair metal group Great White, died Thursday from multiple system atrophy and Lewy body dementia, Rolling Stone reported. He was 63. Russell announced his retirement from touring last month after his diagnosis. "I am unable to perform at the level I desire and at the level you deserve," Russell said on social media at the time. "Words cannot express my gratitude for the many years of memories, love, and support." He was remembered today by his family. Jack is loved and remembered for his sense of humor, exceptional zest for life, and unshakable contribution to rock and roll, where his legacy will forever thrive, his family wrote in an online statement. Founded in Los Angeles in 1977, Great White rode the mid-1980s metal wave with the million-selling 1987 album Once Bitten and its double-platinum 1989 follow-up, Twice Shy. The band's songs Rock Me and Ian Hunter cover Once Bitten, Twice Shy were MTV mainstays. The latter reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went gold. Watch the video here. The band had 7 top 10 hits on the mainstream rock chart, including Save Your Love, House of Broken Love, Call It Rock and Roll, and Rollin' Stone. An earlier track, a cover of the Angels' Face the Day, from Great White's 1986 sophomore album Shot in the Dark, earned heavy airplay on Los Angeles rock outlet KMET-FM before the band broke nationwide the following year. Fueled by Once Bitten, Twice Shy, the group's 4th LP, Twice Shy reached the Billboard 200 Top 10, and 1991's Hooked and 1993 compilation disc, The Best of Great White, 1986 to 1992, are certified gold. Russell left the group in 1996 but returned in 2001 when it started touring under the name Jack Russell's Great White. Great White was the headliner at the Station nightclub in Warwick, RI, in 2003 when the group's stage pyrotechnics ignited a fire in the ceiling's acoustic foam. Within 6 minutes, the entire club went up in flames, killing 100 people, including band guitarist Ty Longley, and injuring 230. It remains the deadliest fireworks accident in U.S. history. Legal action against several parties, including Great White, was resolved with monetary settlements by 2008. Russell's survivors include his wife, Heather Ann Russell, and a son, Matthew Hucko. A public memorial is planned at a later date. Gena Rowlands, a multiple Emmy winner whose captivating work in A Woman Under the Influence, and as the elder and dementia-ridden Allie in The Notebook also moved moviegoers, died Wednesday surrounded by family at her home in Indian Wells, California. She was 94. No cause of death was given, but the retired actress had been battling Alzheimer's disease. Ironic in light of her famous film role. She retired from Hollywood in 2015 after earning 4 Emmy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and 2 Oscar nominations. Her Oscar noms included A Woman Under the Influence and Gloria, both born of collaborations with her late husband, John Cassavetes. The duo made an indelible mark on American independent film, not just for the often revelatory end product, but also for the DIY way they made their movies. A Woman Under the Influence was prompted by Rowlands, who wanted to delve into the difficulties faced by American women in their lives and relationships. When Cassavetes could not raise the money for the film, they mortgaged their house and borrowed from family and friends to make it happen. They shot with a crew made up in part by AFI students, and not on a pricey, purpose-built soundstage set, but in an actual residence in Hollywood. Rowlands won Primetime Emmys for The Betty Ford Story, Face of a Stranger, and Hysterical Blindness, as well as a Daytime Emmy for The Incredible Mrs. Ritchie. She earned 5 more nominations from the Television Academy, the first in 1985 for her part as the mother of a young man with AIDS in the groundbreaking An Early Frost. Her son, director and actor Nick Cassavetes, spoke to Entertainment Weekly about the Notebook role. Born in Cambria, Wisconsin, Rowland moved to New York after a stint in regional theater and made her Broadway debut in The 7-Year Itch, touring in a national production of the play. In 1956, she starred in the Broadway play Middle of the Night opposite Edward G. Robinson. Rowlands co-starred in the 26-episode syndicated TV series Top Secret and guest starred on many TV anthology series. She later was a regular guest on many top TV shows. In 1959, Rowlands appeared in the Western series Laramie and later alongside her husband, John Cassavetes, in the detective series Johnny Staccato. Rowlands made her film debut in The High Cost of Living in 1958. Rowlands and Cassavetes made 10 films together, including Faces, A Woman Under the Influence, which garnered a Best Actress nomination, and 1980's Gloria, which also spawned a Best Actress Oscar nomination. Rowlands was married to him from April 9, 1954, until his death on February 3, 1989. Survivors include her husband Robert and children Nick, Alexandra, and Zoe Cassavetes. Maurice Williams, the lead singer of Morris Williams and the Zodiacs, died Sunday at the age of 86. No cause was given. Born in Lancaster, South Carolina, Williams went on to form his first group, the Royal Charms, during his high school years. The North Carolina Music Hall of Fame reported his first major hit in 1957 with the song Little Darlin', which he wrote and recorded with his group, the Gladiolas. The song rose to number 11 on the Billboard R&B chart and later became a major hit when recorded by the Diamonds. In 1959, Williams renamed the group to Morris Williams and the Zodiacs. In 1960, they released Stay, which became the shortest #1 song on the Billboard singles chart at just 1 minute and 32 seconds. Stay was also featured in the 1987 movie Dirty Dancing. Williams also had the 1961 hit May I, which became his third million seller. Williams became a member of the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2007 and the NC Music Hall of Fame in 2010, survived by his wife Emily. French acting star Alain Delon, whose many iconic roles included Le Samouraï, Plein Soleil, and The Leopard, has died in France at the age of 88. The actor's children said in a statement that their father had passed away in the early hours of Sunday, surrounded by his family and beloved Belgian shepherd Lubo, in his longtime chateau home in the village of Douchy, in the Le Loiret region, some 100 miles south of Paris. Delon's death marks the passing of one of the last surviving icons of the French cinema scene of the 1960s and 70s, when the country was on an economic roll as it reconstructed in the wake of World War II. The star, who was at the peak of this career from the 1960s to the 1980s, fell into acting by chance. Born on November 8, 1935, in the Paris suburb of Sceaux, he had a turbulent childhood after his parents divorced when he was still young. After training briefly as a butcher in his stepfather's business, he entered military school at the age of 17. After being caught stealing equipment, he was given the choice of expulsion or signing up for a tour of duty in Southeast Asia. Delon fought in the Battle of Dien Bien Phu in 1954, but wound up in trouble again after he crashed a Jeep he had stolen and returned to France in 1956. Having moved to Paris, where he did odd jobs to make ends meet, Delon got his first introduction to the cinema world through his relationship with actress Brigitte Aubert, who had recently appeared in Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. After they hooked up, she took him to the Cannes Film Festival in 1957, where he met the actor and director Jean-Claude Brialy, as well as his future agent Georges Baume. I came down with a girl that I liked, who loved me. I took it all in, did the red carpet, but even then, I felt at home. Not least, and I say this without pretension, because it was made clear to me that I was not bad looking, he told a Cannes masterclass in 2019. His next big break came via the actress Michel Cordoue, with whom he had an affair. She convinced her husband, director Yves Allégret, to give him a small role in his film Quand la femme s'en mêle. Delon was candid about the role women had played in his early career. If I hadn't met the women I met, I would have died long ago. It's the women, I don't know why, who loved me, who got me into this profession, who wanted me to do it, and who fought for me to do it, he told a masterclass at the Cannes Film Festival in 2019. His career took off quickly from there, with Delon then appearing in Marc Allégret's Sois belle et tais-toi, which also featured Jean-Paul Belmondo in the cast, followed by Pierre Gaspard Huit's Christine, which would see Delon appear opposite Romy Schneider. Roger Cook, known to viewers of PBS's long-running series, This Old House as the landscaper with a solution to every problem and an answer to every question, died August 21st following a lengthy illness. He was 70. His death was announced on This Old House's official website. "I remember every lesson from Roger," said This Old House executive producer Chris Wolf in a statement. "More importantly, there are millions of people whose lives have been enriched by everything Roger taught them." Cook's involvement with the popular home renovation series spanned nearly 40 years. He first appeared on the show for the series' second season in 1982 and signed on full-time as the landscape contractor for season 10 in 1988. When Ask This Old House debuted in 2002, Cook was part of the team, providing landscape advice directly to homeowners. Cook continued with the franchise until health issues prompted his retirement in 2020. Roger was our much-loved colleague, treasured by the entire This Old House community, for his soft-spoken but no-nonsense approach to every aspect of landscape contracting. The show's website tribute reads, "He was always there with the answers we needed." Born in 1954, Cook grew up in Burlington, Massachusetts, and was still in college at the University of Maine when he began working with local landscapers and tree firms. With a degree in wildlife management and conservation law, he founded K&R Landscape with wife Kathleen in 1982. The business, under different ownership, remains in operation. Roger's specialty and passion was plants, and no one was more knowledgeable, said Fred Pendleton, Roger's longtime friend and now co-owner of K&R Landscape with colleague Tom Pica. "You could ask Roger any question about any plant, which ones would survive shade, how to treat diseases, which perennials or annuals to choose, the best woody plants or deciduous trees for a certain backyard, even the Latin names for everything." And he knew it. Cook's health issues predate his departure from the series, first surfacing in 2018. At that time, he announced he was considering stepping down. "I have enjoyed the opportunity to share my knowledge and passion for landscaping," he said at the time, "and my life has been greatly enriched by the professional relationships and friendships I've formed over the years. I truly appreciate our fans' dedication and the concern for my well-being. Rest assured that I am in good hands, and please know that I am grateful for all of your support." Cook, who lost wife Kathleen to cancer in 2010, is survived by son Jason, daughter Molly, brother Greg, daughter-in-law Anna, and grandsons Peter, Noah, and James. Phil Donahue, the longtime host of the trend-setting TV talk show, The Phil Donahue Show, died Sunday evening following a long illness, surrounded by family including his longtime wife, actor Marlo Thomas. He was 88. His death was announced on the Today Show this morning. Today shared a statement from Donahue's family. See the announcement below. Calling Donahue a daytime staple, who pioneered a format that had been replicated by others, Today hosts noted that Donahue had been presented a Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Joe Biden just this summer. Donahue was married to Thomas for more than 40 years, having met when the That Girl star met Donahue when she was a guest on his talk show. The family statement reads, "Groundbreaking TV talk show journalist Phil Donahue died Sunday night at home surrounded by his wife of 44 years, Marlo Thomas, his sister, his children, grandchildren, and his beloved golden retriever, Charlie. Donahue was 88 years old and passed away peacefully following a long illness." Donahue was born December 21, 1935 in Cleveland, and in the late 1950s embarked on a career as a radio journalist, at first in his hometown and then Adrian, Michigan. But it was his TV work in Dayton, Ohio, that truly launched not only Donahue's career, but what would become a novel and highly influential style of daytime talk TV. In 1959, he was hired as a TV reporter at Dayton's WHIO, where his empathetic style of interviewing was first noticed by the public and his bosses. Within 4 years, he also had a radio call-in show called Conversation Piece for WHIO's affiliated radio station. Within several more years, he had taken his talk endeavor to TV, hosting a business show and co-anchoring the evening news. In 1967, he was scooped up by a competing Dayton station, WLWD, who offered him a daytime morning interview show with a studio audience. With a studio audience that was treated by Donahue with respect, the host would make his way through the seats and hand over the mic to audience members with questions for guests. The Phil Donahue Show became a Dayton area staple and favorite. Donahue is regarded as an early advocate for women, giving his largely female audience the opportunity to speak and ask questions on serious topics rather than the home EC subjects that so many daytime talkers focused on. Former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, a tech pioneer who was one of Google's earliest employees, has died after living with lung cancer for 2 years, according to her husband. She was 56. It is with profound sadness that I share the news of Susan Wojcicki passing. My beloved wife of 26 years and mother to our 5 children left us today after 2 years of living with non-small cell lung cancer, Dennis Troper wrote in a Facebook post. Troper said Wojcicki was not just my best friend and partner in life, but a brilliant mind, a loving mother, and a dear friend to many. Her impact on our family and the world was immeasurable. We are heartbroken but grateful for the time we had with her, Troper said. Please keep our family in your thoughts as we navigate this difficult time. Wojcicki, who was one of the most prominent women in Silicon Valley, had been involved with YouTube's parent company Google from its earliest days, when its 2 founders worked out of her garage in California to build a search engine. She later became Google's 16th employee and had worked at the company for nearly 25 years. Google's CEO Sundar Pichai expressed condolences in a post on X early Saturday, saying Wojcicki was core to Google's history. She was an incredible person, leader, and friend who had a tremendous impact on the world, and I'm one of countless Googlers who is better for knowing her. We will miss her dearly, Google CEO Sundar Pichai said on X. Wojcicki had served as YouTube's CEO for 9 years before announcing last year in a blog post that she would be stepping back from her leadership role to focus on her family, health, and personal projects that she was passionate about, CNN previously reported. She oversaw YouTube during the web's pivotal transition toward social media, but also as online platforms came under increasing scrutiny for spreading misinformation, hate speech, and other harmful content. I'm so proud of everything we've achieved, Wojcicki wrote when announcing she was stepping down in 2023. It's been exhilarating, meaningful, and all-consuming. Peter Marshall, who hosted the popular game show The Hollywood Squares for more than 15 years and had a long career as an actor, singer, and comic, died today of kidney failure at his Encino home. He was 98. His publicist Harlan Bowl confirmed to News to Deadline. Marshall won 4 daytime Emmys for hosting the syndicated Hollywood Squares from 1966-81. The tic-tac-toe game featured 2 contestants agreeing or disagreeing with celebrities who provided answers to Marshall's questions, which ranged from silly to ribald. The format has been revived a few times over the years, with a new edition hosted by Nate Burleson with Drew Barrymore in the Fame Center Square, is to premiere in mid-season. Among the scores of stars who appeared on Hollywood Squares were Walter Matthau, Gloria Swanson, Glenn Ford, and Milton Berle, as well as regulars Paul Lynde, who often killed as the center square, Rose Marie, Nipsey Russell, Cliff Arquette, and Wally Cox. Marshall went on to host other TV game shows including All-Star Blitz and Yahtzee. Listen to people, have fun, and know the game. That's basically all you have to do to be a good game show host, Marshall said in a 2019 interview for the Television Academy Foundation. Know the game thoroughly so if something goes wrong, you know how to rectify it. And most importantly, enjoy the people. He also hosted the Peter Marshall Variety Show, Big Bands from Disneyland, and the audience participation series Fantasy with Leslie Uggams. Born Ralph Pierre Lecoq on March 30th, 1926 in Huntington, WV, Marshall had a long career in showbiz before his Hollywood Squares gig. Boasting a memorable voice, he worked as a DJ for Armed Forces Radio after being drafted into the Army stint during World War II and as an NBC page and a theater usher. Marshall teamed with Tommy Noonan in 1949 for a comedy act that sold out nightclubs and did The Ed Sullivan Show twice. They appeared together in movies including The Rookie, 1959, and Swingin' Along, 1961. He had bit parts in some early 1950s movies and became a contract player at 20th Century Fox, appearing in such films as Ensign Pulver, The Cavern, and Annie, in which he played radio crooner Bert Healy. Marshall got his TV start guesting on 50s variety shows as part of a comedy team with Tommy Farrell. Later that decade, he appeared in episodes of series including Men of Annapolis and The Millionaire. He also appeared in Manhattan Tower, the first color special NBC aired. Marshall made his Broadway debut in the short-lived 1961 play How to Make a Man and returned as a star of the 1965-66 musical Skyscraper. Those shows came after he starred with Chita Rivera in Bye Bye Birdie on stage in London's West End. His other musical theater credits High Button Shoes, Anything Goes, The Music Man, and 42nd Street. From 1983-87, Marshall performed the lead role of Georges in more than 800 performances of La Cage aux Folles on Broadway and its national tour. He also starred for 2 years as Lenny Gans in the national tour of Neil Simon's Rumors. Marshall authored the 2002 memoir, Backstage with the Original Hollywood Square. He is survived by his Lori, his wife of 35 years, daughters Suzanne Browning and Jaime DeMarco, son Pete Lecoq, 12 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. Another son, David Lecoq, died of COVID complications in 2021.